Hello, I'm Dale, and this is Get Out of My Kitchen. Tonight we're going to be prepping for barbecue a couple of big briskets, and there's no TV magic in here. These things weigh 15 pounds a piece, and they need to be trimmed. And so we'll start getting them out of the packages here. Handy dandy kitchen shears. Pretty big hunk of beef. Yeah, this is the part they never show you. Now there's a piece of meat. Anyway, by the time we get through with these, there'll be plenty edible. People line up for blocks just to smell my barbecue. These briskets are all, they all come in kind of the same way. If you buy the untrimmed ones. The untrimmed ones have all the fat in those 2 layers of meat still in there. And in order to make these things cook right, you need to eliminate some of this fat off the back of it because it insulates the meat. Now, some people will tell you they leave all the fat on it, but at the temperatures we're going to be cooking, the beef fat won't render out, the tallow won't render out. And so it kind of insulates the meat, and also it's tough to deal with later. You'll have, you cut it off, you'll have one side of the meat that's not smoked. So it's kind of a process to work this. They don't show much butchering on TV. I don't know why. I guess it's just not interesting to people, but one thing about it is you need a sharp knife and you need to pay attention. So we'll try the sharp knife part here. That's my $250 Chicago cutlery knife that I bought at Walmart. So, got a great big piece of fat that runs down here, so we're going to start getting it. You don't really want to cut all the way down, just most of the way. I want to leave a little bit on there to not let that meat dry out, because brisket is a grain. It's got a real definite grain to it, and the smoke will just go right through a brisket. Now some people like that, the smoke goes clean through, but I like it to have a smoke ring. It's more of a competition style thing that I saw. It seems to actually work a little bit. It gives you an evener slice. And I've been trying to figure out what to do with the excess fat that you get with a brisket. I haven't figured anything out yet that would be economical to do with it. You certainly don't want to give it to your dog unless you want your dog to look like a basketball. It doesn't render out to anything really edible. So it's kind of tough to figure out sometimes what to do. I just have to throw it away. I don't have any place to want to freeze it. I think you can make candles out of beef tallow. I think. I'm not 100% sure about that because I've never made a candle out of beef tallow. Yeah. This side of our brisket looks really nice. It's pretty smooth. A little bit more off of here. I think. Take a look at the other side again. No special reason why I wanted to make a TV show about cutting up a brisket. I just think that when you go to a barbecue restaurant, especially if it's not a chain, if it's a mom and pop, it's got a real pit boss there. This is the kind of thing that he does when he's prepping. And to me, that prep is where you get the finished product. It's like painting in a lot of ways. Painting a house. You can get the most expensive paint in the world, but if you don't prep it good first, then you've wasted all your money and you've wasted your time and you probably won't get to paint that house anymore. I don't expect anybody to try to do this at home. I wouldn't recommend some of the recipes I do are just like they're kamikaze to the point where you're not going to find yourself needing to make this stuff too often. I only do this about twice a year myself, but an awful lot of fun. There's my dog. What you doing, Pumpkin? My pumpkin girl. I can't stop right now, honey. I'm making your lunch for tomorrow. It's okay. Just gonna go ahead and score this. On the back so that it'll have a chance to get some of the flavoring in when I put the dry rub on it. Still working on my dry rub. The proportions and ingredients are of course top secret. I've got them buried in the clay jar and back along with some gold doubloons stuff and diamond rings and stuff in the back I want to keep. But basically you got kind of two types and I'm kind of in transition thinking about what I want to do. I've been going completely savory with it and it's been working really good. But I was thinking about maybe putting a sweet component to it. Because all the best ones they actually do. They have a sweet component in there. like a brown sugar or molasses or something, but that's usually in the sauce. The dry rub, it can have, it's about done. It can have sugar, brown sugar in it easily. I mean, most of them do. And I went more, when I was doing this starting out, I went more to a savory, spicy type sauce, or dry rub. That one's done. We got one more here. So, second verse, same as the first. Still a good looking piece of meat. It's the brisket used to be about the most affordable cut you could get, and it still is pretty cheap. You get a little waste on it. These here were $1.89 a pound, so they were like 25 bucks a piece. And that's about right. I mean, it's never going to be a cheap thing to do because you've got to buy the other things that go with. And the reason it used to be cheap is because it was prepared badly a lot of times. And if it's not done in the right way, it can be tough. You've got to cook it. We're planning on cooking this. We'll keep showing you how we do this, but we're planning on cooking this tomorrow. We're starting this on a Saturday night. And I'm going to put my dry rub on it and let it sit overnight on the dry rub wrapped up, so we can soak up some of that flavor. And then we're going to start our fire probably about 8 o'clock in the morning tomorrow. In the morning. I plan on having a whole movie about this thing by the time I'm done. And Pumpkin thinks I'm kind of silly. She's over here listening to me talk. And I don't normally talk to myself while I'm cooking either, so. I don't think I'm a very good conversationalist, I suppose. And I've been watching cooking shows and stuff for a long time, and something that I've never seen them do was, especially the newer ones. You never see hardly any of the prep work. The prep work is kind of like giving away magician's secrets. But I don't think there's a lot of people that actually want to trim briskets. I guess that's where I've got it, right? And it's amazing how cheap these sweet little cameras are nowadays. I can just see it now. I'm gonna do one of these for Christmas, and I'll take the video to Grandma's. See, this is how you do this. Could have used it for some of her recipes, like green beans. I still haven't made a green bean as good as Grandma's. I'm pretty sure I never will either, because Sandy likes them. My lovely Sandy likes them restaurant style, and I like them Southern style. She likes them. She likes them almost. You'd almost say they would be a cafeteria style. I have a hard time making them. They're so cafeteria style. So, need to put a camera on Carl when he's out there working on bikes. Oh, I shouldn't have even mentioned him. He's not in the show. I mean, one of my co-anchors. So we got a big piece here we got to hit still yet. And then we're going to be almost caught up on this particular brisket thing. And we'll move on to the easier one. I did the hard one first. Along with the brisket, we're going to do a couple of pork shoulders, and they're actually pretty easy to deal with. They don't need any trimming for one thing, but they also just seem to be easier to handle all around. This part's pretty crucial. If you don't trim it up the right way, you're not going to be happy when it's time to eat. All scored up here. I can label that there. Yeah, okay. Pull my trash can over here. Get rid of the excess. Hate throwing that stuff away, but then again, I don't know what to do with it. Just imagine it probably involves boiling it in a big pot, stinking up the whole house, and that's like, I think you want to cook with it. Wouldn't taste good. I need a new sponge on my thingamajiggy. What is it, Pumpkin? I always like to try to do my dishes up while I'm cooking, because if you don't, then when you're done, when you got all the cooking stuff going, you look down and there's a sink full of stuff there, and it's just another downer. My basic credo while I'm cooking and in the kitchen, what I've always gone by is just try to find the easiest way to do something. And sometimes that works. What is it, Duncan? You go outside? Do you? Duncan wants out. I'll have to let her out. You go outside. Come on. Outside. See, she don't like me talking. That's what it is. She's jealous. She wants that meat. That's what it is. No, that's mine. Give me that. I'll give her something else. She's always bugging me for something. Okay. This is the other thing we got. Pork shoulders. Now, some people really love that brisket, and I don't, that's good. I like it. But this here is my favorite. I like it over ribs. I like it over the brisket. Because it's built. It's a piece of meat that's built to cook for overnight, 24 hours. The more you cook it, the tenderer, the nicer it gets. By the time we're done with these things, the bone, you reach down and grab the bone and it'll just pull straight out of it. And then you can usually, what you'll do is then you'll shred it up. It's called pulled pork. You bust the whole thing up. And I don't even need much sauce. Some people really love having sauce on it, but I don't much need it with all the fruit woods we'll be using. So this is our basic load here for tomorrow morning in the smoker. Yeah. Okay. My steak schnoozle just came apart. Oh, good. Fine. I'll have to fix it again. 14th time, no, the third time actually. Because your chef, he's got to be a domestic engineer too. When stuff breaks, nobody else is going to fix it but you anyway. Actually, we were coming up to the fun part. This is the part here that nobody can really believe when they see me doing it. I need trays. I need trays really bad. I think this is the one right here. Yeah. Quick wipe. At this stage, with this stuff, and a word about your kitchen sanitary. Duncan's helping. We're going to be on the grill for probably 12 hours or more at a little over 200, about 220 degrees or so. And then overnight in the oven at another 200. And all that's above the danger zone. So at this stage, it's impossible, I would think, well, not impossible, difficult to poison somebody. Great big brisket here. Now I go through a bunch of paper towels. If you watch me, you'll see that I just go through a Brazilian paper towels. But I want to start with a kind of a dry brisket here, because we're going to control how much moisture we use when we put our dry rub on. We do that the competition style. I've done this ever since I saw that, and it works really well for some reason. I don't really understand the mechanism, but what we're going to do is we're going to mustard them. And you're all going, oh, half of you going, oh, half of you going, oh. It works for me. It helps make a little bit better of a bark, I think. And this whole jar of mustard from a place that I'm not going to advertise for cost $1.40. And that's all we need it for. It's not going to be a used for flavor that much. It's just for helping coat the meat, the brisket down, and you're just going to have to get in with your hands. There's no way to do this otherwise. Got to get in with your hands. You rub it in, not copiously, I'd say generously. All over everything. Yeah, it was a little thick on that first side, but I'm actually turning it around and even it out. But it's pretty close. There's no exact way of doing that. And there's one. And Pumpkin's still helping me. You still helping me, Pumpkin? What is it? You don't like Daddy doing this? Probably saying that's a lot of mustard. And it is. It's a lot of mustard. But somehow the way this works is that it don't. The flavor of the mustard doesn't carry over. It helps the rub to stick. But as a flavor, after all them hours of cooking, it just doesn't seem to carry over. And which I don't, it shouldn't be that way, but it is. Okay. Get another pan from my fork here. Do all the mustarding at once. Check my battery state. Oh heck, I've only got 0. I only got 57 minutes to get this done. My goodness. I'll never finish in 57 minutes. Especially Pumpkin keeps helping me. Because she's such a big help. Aren't you, girl? Okay. Another pan. Little bitty kitchen, and that's what I kind of like it. It could be a step bigger, but I feel kind of discombobulated in the kitchen that I can't just turn around and, I don't have enough counter space, but I do a lot of cooking in the old toaster oven here. Got to have a microwave, but everything's right, even the stove, all that stuff's all in one step, and that's why I call it get out of my kitchen. There's 2 people in here, is two, and a Pumpkin too. Pumpkin's a big person too. Just why are you talking so much? Now on the pork, we'll leave all the fat on it because it just, at the temperature we'll be cooking, it renders out anyway. And it really flavors the pork shoulder. It's just, to me, this is the king of meats. I'll take this over about anything, pretty much. It's got a great big bone in the middle. It's I don't know which one it is. Don't really know, but when the shoulder's done, it's funny. The first time I cooked these, I just about panicked because I was in about 8 hours. Well, it was about 6.5 or 7 hours in, something like that. I was checking these things, just like these, they're no different from these. And checked them about 6 hours in, and they were hard as brick. You couldn't even, you could bounce them. I mean, they were like a rubber ball. It was really weird. I said, man, oh man, are they ever going to get done? I was feeding this fire for 6 hours. Are they ever going to tender up? And I don't even worry about that now. I don't do it that way. But what was funny is about 8.5 hours in of cooking, they softened right up. They went all of a sudden. It seemed like 1 minute they were just hard as they could be, and then the next minute it was completely tender. Okay, we are done with the mustard. No more mustard. I've got over a half of a jug of cheap mustard now. I'm gonna make them eat a bunch of hot dogs. And they can eat cheap mustard with the cheap hot dogs. I get some of them hot dogs that are made out of mechanically separated chicken parts. So, next is the dry rub. I think I'm going to get the small ones out of the way first to get into practice. Because I'm going to wrap them up in cling wrap. I'm going to sit overnight with that mustard and the dry rub. They call it dry rub, I know, but it's once it gets on this mustard and sticks, it's kind of a wet, dry, not completely dry. This has got salt, pepper, a little bit of red pepper, paprika, thyme, cumin, a couple other things. And I just made it this afternoon. Well, just measured it out. It's not a big thing. Like I say, this is a completely savory dry rub. It has no sugar in it at all. And a lot of people, and I'm going to try it one time when I'm just going to eat it myself. I'm going to try to make a brown sugar rub. I think it should be pretty easy to do. But generously hit it. All those flavors will certainly, they mellow out quite a bit over the hours of cooking we're going to do to these things. We're going to cook them for 24. So everything has a chance to really just kind of mellow out in there. Flavor soaks all the way through it. We use a fruit wood. I prefer, my favorite, and I've always had good luck with apple. Actually, what I'm doing is I'm putting the sugars on with the wood and leaving the meat savory, the cuts meat savory, and adding kind of a sweet note with the apple. But I can see the other way. What you would do is you would take your sweet rub, and then use a hickory, use a savory wood. That might work just fine. Pumpkin, you still helping? I don't think you want any of this dry rub. I don't think you like that. You can wrinkle up your nose. I think it would. What I'm going to do next is go ahead and wrap these and get them out of the way. The small one, practice it first before I get to the big ones. That should be fun to do, but they do look different. That's about, oh shoot. How heavy were these? That was the brisket. They were around 8 pounds a piece, so that's 16 pounds of pork shoulder right there. And how nice is that? Yeah. See, that's already just is so good. This process uses a lot of plastic wrap. And that's the end of that one. Here we go, opening a new plastic wrap. I knew I was going to have to do that. Right, there's one. Try to dump out my spots. I need to hit that again. Okay. These are a pain. Open here. You got to read the instructions. Now there's one. Oh, Golden broke off. And here we go, same process. Come on, keep coming. One more. All be ready to drop on the grill and drop on the smoker in the morning. Oh, there's that. This could be out of the way now. Here's the ones that, well, let me just split this up. Big old piece of meat. Now, I'm real generous with this rub on the pork. And to me, the beef, it doesn't need quite as much spicing. It's the way the beef is with the grain of the meat. It soaks up the smoke so much that you don't want a lot of excess spicing on it. So I'm a little bit lighter on the touch with the brisket than I am with the pork. The pork I want that pork spicy. This beef, if it's too, it just doesn't need as much. It's not going to need as much dry rub on it as the pork did. It's still a generous amount of seasoning. It's a pretty big piece of meat, but okay, there's that. And this one. Look at this, I made exactly the right amount of seasoning for all this. Isn't that something? I knew how to do that this morning. I guess another thing that's hard about this is that I don't do it enough. If he was doing this every day, you'd have it all completely sorted out how he's going to approach it. But I do it for special occasions. Okay, I'm going to wrap them up. Got a kitty outside. Whoop, two. Oh, I just blew my tire. Come on, go. Come on, go. I think what I do really is get as much plastic on as I can early on. It's not turning out right the way I want it, but you just got to keep going. Cut. Oh boy, what a mess. See, I gotta think this over. I'm not doing this the right way. It's gotten away from me. I suspect my engineering ain't quite right. Come on, baby. There, we got it wrapped finally. Sort of, kinda. And we got the plastic wrap all bundled up in here. It never ends. We'll try this again. I don't care how much I use. I bought it for this job anyway. one more try. Maybe roll it. Did that work? Why not? There, a bundle of brisket. Maybe if I did it this way, maybe. Lay out a little bit of paper. This ain't gonna work neither. I can see this is even worse idea than before. But we'll try it here. We'll go like this. And then just gently layer on there. Get this out of the way. More grit. I need more grit. I've got a dry rub all over the floor. I mean, it is going everywhere. Pumpkin's helping. She's gonna be in here helping get the dry rub off the floor. How you cut this process is going to take a lot of plastic wrap. Now I do need to save some. I need to have enough to wrap it up when it's done, or when it comes off the grill. That was something. What? I'm not quite sure. Okay. There's all of my 40 pounds of stuff in the fridge. Why ain't it closing? Got a problem. Oh, there's too much meat. There it went. So I hope you enjoyed that. Now I've got a mess to clean up. I could show that, but you probably wouldn't watch it. So thanks for watching. Get out of my kitchen. Good night.